Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Humpton, CEO of Siemens USA, and you're listening to The Optimistic Outlook. Can you believe it's already July? The first half of the year has been a whirlwind of activity, both for Siemens and across the industrial and technical landscape. Since January, I've traveled from California to Texas, New York to Florida, the White House to Siemens headquarters in Munich, Germany, to meet with customers, industry partners, policymakers, innovators, and more. One of my goals? To get our people and partners engaged in shaping what I've been calling the new industrial tech sector. I said to a group of manufacturing peers recently, the funny thing about the real world is that it's the only place you can get a hot meal, right? We've heard Groucho Marx utter those lines, but we have to live our lives in the real world. We spent the last couple of decades bringing forward digital technologies that have virtualized our lives. Well, now that innovation is coming to manufacturing, to the power sector, to buildings, rail, and everywhere else that can produce data in the real world. Here's what I said at the start of this year. Public-private sector investment is refocusing on the physical world. Innovators are looking at how to bring back American industry and overhaul our infrastructure. And AI is changing everything. It's empowering customers to leverage data and advanced technologies like never before. Equipment, machinery, and operations in the physical world can now be brought online. I think that may be the shift that really emerges in 2025. For years, we've awaited the fourth industrial revolution, and now that it's here, we're actually seeing the foundation being laid for an infinite industrial revolution, where industry, infrastructure, and transportation are continuously upgraded through software and smart systems. All right, and so as we bring things up to the present, we're seeing some key trends shaping this new sector, trends I noted in my predictions for 2025. Trends like expanding critical electrical infrastructure to support growing national energy needs, revitalizing American manufacturing to create jobs and opportunities for innovation, training the next generation of skilled workers, and bringing people off the sidelines with AI. So 6 months down the line, where are we? How has the industrial tech sector developed? What's going on with industrial AI and energy infrastructure? And how is AI making people more productive? Let's start at the top with thoughts from two of my most recent guests on how industrial AI is revitalizing American manufacturing for companies of all sizes. Here's Del Costi, our head of digital industries, talking about the core element of industrial AI, data.
Once we have the mechanisms to collect the data, then we can really start evolving into actually creating a digital twin. We're never going to get to that position of harnessing the power of digital twin if we don't have the ability to collect data, nor will be able to take advantage of all the great AI capabilities that they're evolving so fast.
There you have it. The road to AI runs through data. This is it, the crucial first step for both greenfield and brownfield operations. By collecting data, manufacturers provide the groundwork for industrial AI to determine what could be improved with their operations. This idea is starting to take root with manufacturers, particularly the small and medium-sized businesses that comprise an incredible 98% of American manufacturing operations. And did you catch something else in there? Dell referred to digital twins as a critical technology advancing the industrial tech sector. And he's not the only one excited by their potential for manufacturing. Here's Brian Komisky, an incredible futurist I met at CES on digital twins.
When I look at certain technologies that are extremely inspiring right now, digital twins is one that really jumps to that, because what you're doing is you're taking a physical object or a physical process or a physical just really space, if you will, and you're turning it into this digitized version where you can experiment over and over again with how am I going to set up maybe a textile factory, or how am I going to build a race car? But what you're really doing is you're unlocking human imagination and unlimited research and development at a fraction of the cost.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks to decades of investment and research, Siemens has the world's most comprehensive digital twin, and this technology is playing a crucial role in product design and development. Take startup Jet Zero. I'd love to have them on the podcast later this year, and their new blended wing design for airplanes. Jet Zero used Siemens' digital twin to test their design and iterate, building first in the digital world. And as they just announced, their first factory will deploy industrial AI in their operations. So with industrial AI, momentum is picking up. Inroads are being made with small and medium enterprises and brownfield operations. And there's much more to come. You'll be hearing more from me about an industrial foundation model Siemens is unveiling to accelerate AI in manufacturing. Now, what about that second prediction? That American energy would accelerate, increasing energy prosperity. To bring this to life on the podcast, I turned to Siemens' own operations with a zoom in on our facility in Wendell, North Carolina. This facility will soon showcase one of our favorite technologies to manage power, a microgrid. Here's Brian Dula, president of our electrification and automation business for smart infrastructure, explaining what microgrids are and what they can accomplish.
Having a microgrid is like having your own mini power plant that can generate, store, and manage electricity right where you need it. With data centers coming online and really using significantly more power in the U.S. To support the AI revolution, and our utilities really struggling in some cases to keep up with that demand on how they can produce enough power to meet the needs in the area. Having on-site generation and having the ability to support different fluctuations with the utility grid, it's the exact right time with those challenges for us to demonstrate the technology ourselves as Siemens of how we can help support that revolution.
You've probably heard about the eye-popping sums companies are investing in data centers. OpenAI is looking to invest $500 billion in AI infrastructure over the next 4 years. Investment firms like Blackstone have put more than $100 billion into buying and lending to data centers. All of this takes energy. At Siemens, we're working to meet this need by building electrical components and energy infrastructure to support AI data centers. In March, we opened a new factory in Fort Worth, Texas, and expanded an older facility in Pomona, California to support this goal. But as Brian noted, utilities aren't yet feeling this support at scale. Building new energy infrastructure remains a challenge, and utilities are still working on adopting the digital technologies that support energy efficiency and management. So, while progress is being made, there's plenty more to do. And this brings us to a big trend and topic, the subject that never fails to pop up in conversations, interviews, and Q&A sessions. Where are the people in all this? How will AI impact our jobs? First, I'm going to give you a snippet of my talk with Olympia Brickis, our head of AI research at Siemens, because I love her viewpoint on this.
Whether you're working in medicine, whether you're working as an engineer, whether you're working on a shop floor or even in a warehouse, there's going to be opportunities in all of these sectors for generative AI to come in. As generative AI is taking on a lot of the boring work that we don't really love doing, like reading through tons of manuals to figure out what's going wrong. And our added value as humans will be the judgment that has to come on top of that analysis. The education of people shifting towards becoming better at making those decisions will move on to higher tier tasks, like the decisions that need to be made on top of that.
What a spot-on way to put it. At Siemens, we've really encouraged our people to use AI, to find exciting use cases for customers, to help train new hires or improve safety on the factory floor. You know, Olympia and I had the chance to appear together on a different podcast, and something she shared there is worth mentioning. People ask all the time about the role of AI and technical expertise. And the fact is, what AI helps is those who have lesser technical expertise operate at a much higher level. The example she gave was when we were first rolling out the Microsoft Copilot. Our research and development colleagues placed the Copilot for manufacturing in one of our own facilities in Germany. They then did continuous surveys over several weeks, and what they got was ever-increasing satisfaction. Everyone who was using the Copilot, first and second shift, was very satisfied, but oddly, second shift was using the Copilot more frequently. The team really wondered why. And they decided ultimately they needed to go in and do interviews. What they discovered is this. The folks on second shift said, well, it's simple. It used to be that when something broke, we had to call an expert on first shift. But now, before making that call, we use the co-pilot and we solve so many of our own problems. This is a great example of what we're going to see in the future, where AI empowers those of us who are still new to certain fields. One of my favorite questions to ask teams I meet with these days is simply, how are you using AI in your job? And I hope that all of our 45,000 people in the US are really leaning in. But what about the rest of the workforce? In America, US Department of Labor job data has revealed a persistent gap of roughly 500,000 open jobs in the manufacturing sector. The US Department of Labor also predicts employment of electricians to grow 11% through 2033. Electricians are now retiring at more than double the rate they're entering the field, creating the potential for hundreds of thousands of open roles. For the workforce development experts we've spoken to, the answer is a mix of training, where AI can take on a teaching role, and hands-on experience. Here's Jennifer Mefford, National Co-Chair of the Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Training Program.
The electrical industry is growing so quickly, and it will continue to. So we need a lot of electricians. So some of that begins with an apprenticeship, and that, you're in the field for a while, and then there's a continuing education component, certainly while you're an electrician within your career. They'll teach, things they've been teaching for 100 years, and they'll be teaching new technologies that haven't been around 6 months.
This is a strong reflection of the ambitions I'm seeing around workforce development. Industry leaders across the country are looking into on-site training, apprenticeship opportunities, micro-credentialing programs, AI-enabled operations that can be managed by people without traditional degrees. I heard this when I joined business leaders at the White House in May to talk about investing in America. I saw it as one of the 60 signatories to the White House's Pledge to America's Youth, which looks to further AI education for students in K through 12. Including many of the high school age apprentices Jennifer mentioned. So I'm extremely excited by the advancement of workforce development, training, and upskilling programs. I hope you've enjoyed this episode reviewing the first half of 2025. Businesses tend to look forward to next month, next quarter, next year, but I think there's real value in taking the time to look back, to see just how far we've come, what we've accomplished, and to think about what remains to be done. When I look at where we are now, I see a good start with room to improve. I see chances for businesses, investors, policymakers, industry partners, and colleges and technical institutions to continue ramping up our efforts. I see strides being taken to meet America's goals for manufacturing, infrastructure, and workforce development. And I'm excited to see us do even better in the second half of 2025. A big thank you to all the guests who've joined me so far this year, and to all of our listeners for your interest in the future of American AI, energy, manufacturing, and workforce development. As always, you can reach out on LinkedIn, drop your comments in a review on your favorite platform, or send an email to optimist.us@siemens.com. Please follow us on social media and on your favorite podcasting platform. Thank you for tuning in.
Please follow us on social media and on your favorite podcasting platform. Thank you for tuning in.